Hi there, and welcome to the Call of Comics. My name is Aaron, and
The lifeguarding life ain't
I just
easy.
frightened the crap
Looks
out of
like
myself.
someone earned a DQ Coffee Crisp Blizzard break.
But apparently, I need a Coffee Crisp Blizzard. I guess that's the thing. Well, thank you, Coffee Crisp, for sponsoring my video. I guess. Uh, Anywho, my name is Aaron, and I am so excited to see you, and hopefully we'll have a few people come in tonight because we are doing a Gamma Infused edition of the Call of Comics. We're going to talk a bit about the Hulk. We'll talk about She-Hulk, the potential Hulk movie that's coming up, and you're going to get to see. Hey there, Chris. The first, and I do mean it, the very first look at a book that was sent to me for review. So, hey there, Matt. Welcome, man. Matt, I got to ask you a question. I got a notification on Facebook. So, before I said yes to it, I want to make sure it's actually you. Because if it's you, I'll say yes. Uh, Sometimes you get people that'll, clone other people. So I always have to make sure. I'm definitely awake now. It's right here. It is now approximately 10:16. And before I get into any of this, I will be reviewing a book in a couple of days, actually. So I want to be able to dive into it a bit. Excellent. So I will accept it then. But I was sent the other day I got it today from the same publishing company that sent the other book, Anatomy of Comics. I'm extremely excited. I've got Rich Johnson's latest book. So I will be reviewing this one. It'll get its own review. So please check it out. And please, if you haven't checked out my Anatomy of Comics, which I know that you, Chris, and Matt definitely have done, but the Amazing Spider-Man Websinger hero icon was sent to me, and it is. I haven't had a chance to look at it much. I will tell you one thing: it's gorgeous, and the oversized artwork is utterly fantastic. So I'm very much looking forward to checking this out. This one comes out in early September, I think around September the 11th, and it pretty much it breaks it down to one thing I will tell you into basically chapters of his life. So you get everything from the from Gwen Stacy to Jean DeWolf to Craven's Last Hunt, the Clone Saga, Hobgoblin, Torment. Remember that thing from if you don't, it's a pretty intense thing from like the Todd McFarlane Spider-Man. Spider-Man Noir, Birth of Venom, Maximum Carnage, and just goes into everything Back in Black, One More Day, the Spider-Verse, Spider-Gwen. So I'm so stoked to actually have this book in my hands, and I will be doing a review of this. So for those that are around my age or maybe or really super into comics, remember this cover for Maximum Carnage? Because I totally, hey there, Evan, welcome, man. I totally remember this cover. And I just want to know if it's just me or if this gives anybody kind of like reminiscent feels. So hopefully you guys have seen the latest episode of She-Hulk because we are going to talk about a couple things that have happened in that episode, and a couple like little like Easter eggs as as well. One of them I didn't catch on to until I watched a Screen Crush video. So there, I want to give credit where credit is due. Because it totally bypassed me, but when she's definitely deflex. X Factor Volume 1 is an amazing run. It'll basically, in the first one, yeah, if you like the first one, I definitely go for the second as well. One thing I can tell you with it, Deflex is basically it becomes X Factor Investigations. So it's it's a more modern and more updated take on it, but it's still Peter David's voice. And if you like, especially if you like the first storyline, you remember the multiple man, the Maddox storyline where he who killed multiple man. So you like that type of thing, definitely gonna like this because Maddox is front and center when it comes to X Factor Volume 2. High recommendation on that one. So yeah, and those are the type of questions, by the way, guys, that here in the Call to Comics today, I hope that you like shoot out and ask me when any of this type of stuff because this is what I am here for. I do like to do these live videos every once in a while so we can talk about stuff, look at some upcoming editions. I can give some recommendations. I can, like tonight, for instance, I showed you, you got a preview of a book that I'm going to be reviewing. It was sent to me by by Random House. So we'll be looking at that later on. Hey there, Razor. Welcome, man. Started reading Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1 by Lee and Ditko. For me, I find now this is gonna be a bit of sacrilege, Razor. I think that they do a great job with it, but I really think it kind of comes into its own for me, like just personally for me, when Romita comes on, which is volume 2. But there's a lot of really good stuff in the first volume. I got it myself, right? I really love the first volume because how often do you get like when they're actually setting up these characters are going to be around for like generations? But Ditko is a bit of the what's the word? He's a big Ayn Rand fan, and if you can't tell, it'll show like the philosophy of like comes through in the comics a bit. And sometimes it's a bit odd for a Spider-Man comic, especially when we're used to a very different Spider-Man and a not so like screw everybody else. I have to do what's best for me. But Ditko kind of does that. Am I getting Extreme X-Men Omnibus? I do eventually want to get it. My better half has recently started to take a strong interest in reading the Claremont run of X-Men. I have volumes 1 through 4 of Uncanny X-Men, which is the first 10 odd years of the X-Men, from the Len Wein to one-shot giant-size X-Men to the Chris Claremont era of X-Men. And I will eventually, I don't think I've read all of through of Extreme X-Men. So when I go to read it, it's going to be like a new read for me, Deflex. So I can't say, well, totally grab it. But based on Chris Claremont's like previous work, if it's anything like that, I'm going to be excited about it. Hey there, Alan. We got to see another like hint of a mutant in the She-Hulk series today because right there on the newspaper thing, basically on the side was, man with steel, man with metal claws breaks up fight in bar. I'm paraphrasing, but so yeah, they are now hinting at Wolverine in the Marvel universe. We're getting, and it is. They did say man with metal claws, so we're not. It's not an X-23 situation. Hey there, William. It is actually. It looks like we're going to get Logan. So they are going to go with the original kind of X-Men cast, which is good and bad. I want to see like a good proper X-Men done. Like X2 was my favorite X-Men film, like of all of them, right? That came out from the older, like the Fox stuff. Like X2, I thought was the best. But I want to see what Marvel's going to do with the mutant characters. I'm hoping to see more than X-Men, though. I would love to see X Factor. As Deflex mentions, X Factor is a fantastic team. I would love to see a kind of a fully kind of like realized, almost like the yeah. No, I want to see a good New Mutants movie. Not that I found the other one like really bad, but I really think that it was tonally kind of unbalanced. But we got to see like that hint of like Wolverine in there, and that's a big step. Where first we got the thing with Miss Marvel, like we found out she's a mutant. We've got like Professor Xavier showing up in like in the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness one, and the other big thing that we saw was the Hulk is on the ship, and that ship is going to be leading to what I think will be Planet Hulk, the movie. Basically, I'm not sure if they're going to go with a full-blown World War Hulk, but this is the way to get Scar into the Marvel Universe. This is how I see this going. I think, for me, it's kind of what you're into, Matt. For me, this is a bit more of what what I want. When it comes to this, like She-Hulk is going to be comedy, right? Um, because that's what She-Hulk is. I didn't get the Doctor Doom one, but it looks amazing, and I do recommend it. But when people go into She-Hulk and they're wondering like, why isn't She-Hulk like the Hulk? Well, She-Hulk's not the Hulk, and we'll also get people like, how come like Mark Ruffalo's Hulk is different now than like Edward Norton's Hulk, or you see a lot of that online, right? Like, oh my God, have they made the Hulk kind of wimpier? Have they kind of tamed down the Hulk for films? And No, they're following this right here. So Peter David, the Chris Claremont of the Incredible Hulk. Whenever you think of the Incredible Hulk and you want to like the voice that kind of like pretty much gave the Hulk his voice as to like even to what we're seeing right now, it's all Peter David, and of course the more modern day stuff is more like we'll get Al Ewing, but we're not to that point yet. We're not up to that spot yet. She-Hulk is good. I mean, like I hate that I spoiled some of it for you, but it's really good. And the one cool thing about it, William, is She-Hulk always had one of the most ridiculous like origins. Basically, in the comic book Savage She-Hulk, She-Hulk gets like shot by a mobster because she's a liar, right? And you know, Bruce Banner, gives her a blood transfusion because he's her cousin. So, in no way in reality would like in the Marvel universe would Bruce Banner be given a blood transfusion to anybody, considering how careful he was with his. But like, if you've seen the Incredible Hulk movie, you know like what happened with the Abomination and with the leader, and the fact that they were trying to like that he was like kind of cloning, kind of getting the crow his blood. So that's not the way that they go with this. They do an actually a much more clever way to of making She-Hulk the Hulk. Now, people often ask, and I want to get this one out of the way too. When it comes to why is She-Hulk so different? Well, why does she rage out? How come she's not like that? And it goes back to it's going to go back to kind of like Peter David and Bill Mantlo, like will be the architects of this. And the idea behind the Hulk initially was basically a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type of thing. Uh, She-Hulk by Peter David. It's a really good. It's a good omnibus. It's different like than the John Byrne run, and it's very different than the Dan Slott run, which are kind of more deal more with the humorous liar aspects of it. In the Peter David like era of She-Hulk, for instance, what happens there is she's not a liar anymore. She can't. She's actually a bounty hunter, and she teams up with this Skrull, and it's more of an action. Like there's the humor still there, but expect a lot more action in like Peter David She-Hulk as opposed to what you would see in like Dan Slott's run or in John Byrne's run or even the Savage She-Hulk, the original run. Because you got to remember, guys, She-Hulk is the character is the last actual original character really aside from Ravage 2099 that nobody wants to talk about that that Stan Lee really created had a hand in creating. But basically, the thing with the Incredible Hulk is that he was beaten as a kid. Like Bruce Banner's character was beaten as a kid. So when he becomes the Hulk, when he gets radiated with gamma rays, basically what happens with him is the Hulk is a different persona than him. There's different splits in the Hulk, and there's different like personas that go within him. Banner is a victim of DID, so dissociative identity disorder. So his Hulk, he really is all the time. When he in the first Avengers movie, when they say, can you make yourself mad, and he says that's my secret. I'm always mad. Even right now, when you see in kind of like the more kind of the jovial, what they call the smart Hulk version of the Hulk, he is at constant war inside of his mind because of the fact that he has DID and he's always going to be fighting with another version of himself of the Hulk, which is within him. That could make its way out, like whether it be the Savage Hulk or Mister Fix-It, or kind of Professor Hulk or any of those type things. Nothing is a certainty for him, so it's always a complete struggle. When it comes to the character of Jennifer Walters as the She-Hulk, she hasn't had she wasn't beaten as a kid. She had a normal family life, and basically the same as I'll give you a good example. With a lot of with females when it comes to I'm not female, so I can't talk for girls, so I feel kind of awkward doing this. But basically, um, there's a lot of times when your guard is up, that type of thing. I remember I was walking home from work one night, and it was around like 1 o'clock at night because it was a late night walk, and it was from the mall, which is very close to me, to where I live, and so I'm walking there, and there's like this lady walking around like 2 to 3 feet like in front of me, right. and but she starts to walk like faster, and it then hits me on that. Oh, I'm walking behind this girl. You know, she doesn't know who I am. She's nervous, so I cross to the other side of the road, and I slow my trot down, and I don't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable. So when that sequence in the first She-Hulk comes, it kind of makes sense because that's basically why she's able to, like, we see her doing yoga before she becomes She-Hulk. So it's basically, she has a better, like, sensibility. There's no secondary character. She's not fighting another personality the way that Bruce is. That makes it a little bit easier. That makes it a bit easier for her to control the her. Basically, that's how she can change and unchange and be able to control it a lot more. She's not fighting someone else to for space in her head. Bruce is always fighting one or more people for space in his head. Oh yeah, what's it? Oh, name in Madripoor. Wolvie was Patch. I can't remember the Hawk's name then. Was that when he was gray? That I got to go back to read that. That was who's writing then? Was that when Claremont was writing? I would say Joe Fixit. Yeah. So the reason that so it is Fixit. So what had happened around that period of time is that the Hulk is not always this Hulk smash character that you see. What you get with the Hulk is this. Basically, the Hulk has all these different personas, and depending the when Peter David was writing the character of the Hulk, every time a new writer would come in, the persona of the Hulk would change a bit. So you'd switch the persona of the Hulk up a bit. So it's much more of the giant like Smash Hulk initially when Todd McFarlane is doing it. Now the Joe Fixit character comes in when what's his name again? I'll get his name in the back here for you guys. So when Jeff Purvis, Matt, starts writing for the starts writing the Incredible Hulk. Well, starts drawing the Incredible Hulk. That's when the Joe Fixit character comes in. So basically, that's when you're going to see him like as kind of like the as the tough for the casinos, and where he's dating Marlo, and and going along with kind of with that. What I would love to see, what my dream is to see, isn't like a Planet Hulk or anything like that. I would love to see, and if anybody's a big Hulk fan, you're probably gonna like pick up on this right away, or maybe it's been in your head too. I want to see Maestro. I want to see Hulk versus Maestro. That's my dream Hulk movie, because Future Imperfect was just this incredible storyline. For those that don't know, Future Imperfect had the Hulk kind of thrust into a future, like kind of a version of future world where himself as is ruler, and he is a vicious like he's a vicious guy, and the character's name is Maestro. So the Hulk has to go up against Maestro. There's been Maestro comics written since then. We're getting a whole Maestro omnibus actually coming out in 2023. There's going to be a fifth Peter David Hulk omnibus that's coming out, and that one is going to deal with the stuff the leftover stuff that he did after he stopped writing the Hulk and came back again. And he's done a lot of work on Maestro, like miniseries and stuff like that. So we're going to get a Maestro omnibus as well. And for me, in much the way that like a lot of people say, the leader is like the big Hulk villain, or Abomination is a big Hulk villain. For me, the Maestro is that ultimate villain for the Incredible Hulk. But although they've kind of played with different aspects of the character over the years. Yeah, he's powered differently depending on whatever type of character that he is. Now, after the Fix-It era of the Hulk, basically we get the Gray Hulk and the Green Hulk, like pretty much in a war within like kind of within Banner's mind, and that brings up on this smart Hulk, this more kind of tougher Hulk. That was his dad. So Alan, that was talking about the dad in the film. You're talking about the Ang Lee film, I think. And that was the guy that guy was kind of playing his dad, but it was a weird like because his dad in the comics was I think it was Robert Banner. Like, don't quote me on that. I think something like Robert Banner, uh, where but his dad was like this abusive, like his dad. That was the reason that he became the way that he is. Yes, please do hit that like button because I do definitely appreciate it. And this is an open forum tonight. Like I don't have like a set like thing that we're gonna be doing. So anything you want to talk about, whether you're it's like Deflex is asking me about omnibuses to pick up. If you're looking at like if there's certain storylines, if you're watching the She-Hulk or you think about watching it or watching one of the other shows and you're kind of maybe you're new and you're kind of confused on how that's going to be how that's going to be how it works out. Hopefully, I can help a bit with that. I don't know everything, but I am a geek, and I did read a lot of comic books. Yeah, it wasn't Nick. I forgot it was Nick Nolte. You know that? It was different. I mean, Ang Lee's Hulk was a very, very different beast. Pun intended. It was a really unusual film where he tried to shoot it like an actual comic book. Ang Lee was a very, he's a very visual director. Do I think I'd say it succeeded? I think I like it now more than I did when it initially came out. I was very disappointed when I first saw the Ang Lee Hulk. There were some beautiful visuals. The TV series, there's two characters that there's two Hulks in one. What's his name? There's a Hulk-like character in one of the episodes of the Hulk series. I'm not sure if he's in the 60s though. I've read a lot of the Brubaker Phillips books. I'm trying to give me a couple. Like I've read a lot of Brubaker, so that's the thing. It is fantastic. Every video that I do now, I shoot on my Apple, my MacBook here. I'm not using a mic as of yet. Like I'm trying to project a bit. Hopefully, like the sound's coming across okay. I still have my mic, which I'll be using for special videos and stuff like that when I really feel like I'm gonna it's gonna be low. But I think overall the sound is really good on this one here. I think the picture's fantastic. The people talked about like heating up and all this, and I've done a few like fair like not long but longish type videos where I had to put in a couple of different edits and a couple of different lines and do some different things. So there's been no heating or overheating or anything like that at all. It turned out to be a whole much ado but nothing, which I was kind of important. Criminal. I need to read more Criminal. I have not read much. I was actually Razor. I had those in my hand in when I was in St. John's. They had the deluxe editions, but they had like 1 and 3 and 4, right? So I said I'm going to wait because I want to get I don't want to get like the just the thing graphic novels or something like Criminal or something like Black Hammer. I want the deluxe editions. So I've read very, very little Criminal. I wish I could tell you that I read more, but I did not. Actually, I did do a video a long time ago, where I talked about like the how I spaced out the decades. Thank you, by the way, for the comics era. So I had of course I had the golden era, I had the bronze era, I had the silver era, I had the bronze era, and from the bronze era, I didn't go right to the modern era because I didn't think that made any sense. So I took the bronze era and I put it up to around like 1988, 89, because that's where I think that's kind of that where that era really fits into place. And the whole 90s, like the era for me, that's what I call the dark age of comics. And I don't say that as a slight because I'm a huge fan of the 90s era comic books, but it often gets waylaid by being like, oh, it's style over substance, it's too flashy. That's when the whole crash happened. So I use that like as to like I call that the 90s to early 2000s, the dark age of comics, and then I go to the 2000s on up to kind of the modern age. And when it comes to right now, I'm still working on it, but I'm going to go with kind of maybe a revival age or something like that. Brian Banner, thank you. Hey there. We are doing a comic-y type of one today. Thanks a lot. Well, hopefully this is not going to be your last time on here. We do like movies and comics and cinema. Tonight is our call to comics video. I probably should have changed that in the section there. I don't mind it. I mean, like I was really big on the clone era of I was one of the only ones. Or the Mummy, the Monster from Hell Hammer Blu-ray editions on Second Sight. Oh, nice. I am actually. I'm an all type of music fan. I'm weird in that way. I like rock music. You depend on like what you're talking about, right? I like rock, pop. I like musicals. I grew up like in theater, so I stayed abreast of that type of stuff. But yeah, I love rock music. Pulp, I had that in my hands too. But do I like classic metal? I like some. 20th Century Rock, yes. Um, I had a cousin who was really big into the metal scene. Like I know like some of the regular ones, I know you probably wouldn't even consider them metal. Like like there's like Quiet Riot and Rat and Metallica, Megadeth, stuff like that. Yeah, and I remember him standing. Is he? How are they doing with Moritz too? Like he's passed away. Um, um, but the Pulp edition that I saw was a special. Hey, they're trash welcome, man. Was a special edition that was called the what was it called again? Well, basically it was almost like a commentary. So it goes through and it talks about like the making of Pulp. I was very enthused by. I was like, intrigued by it. It's better or a better word than enthused. I was intrigued by it, but having not having read Pulp, I figured that kind of be like odd for me. My thoughts on the extras feature in the Portuguese 4K release. I don't know actually. I haven't seen it. They're adding the original featurette. That'll be cool. Next movie on show is The Long Walk. As Kev's talking about it on his channel. I don't remember that one actually. The Process Edition. That's exactly the one. Thank you, Razor. Times. I've been wanting to get Times Square. I do like that film. It's been ages since I've seen it, so I don't remember it. But I remember the music was fantastic in that movie. That's with the two girls, right? If I got the movie correct, I could have it wrong. Trust me, I get things wrong all the time. People are always correct me, and I appreciate it. He filmed before he died. Wow. Okay. No, I did not know that. Jim, I'm pretty much anything when it comes to films. What comic decade is the most sexiness or boobs? By the way, the Dark Era. So that's when you're looking at the Catwoman stuff, you're probably thinking of like the sexy Catwoman. That's Jim Ballant. So Jim Ballant did like a long run on Catwoman. That's when you see the purple outfit and the long hair and the very voluptuous Catwoman, as opposed to Kelly Jones' version of Catwoman that looks like even though the character is supposed to be in her 30s, she looks like she's in her 80s. He just doesn't draw a good female character. But Jim Ballant is the artist that did the really kind of sexy version of Catwoman Fallen that you're going to want to check out. And it was if I'm correct, I think it was a 90s comic. Probably around the same time when they were doing stuff like Azrael, with I think Brian Boland did a lot of work on Azrael. This was after the whole like Nightfall saga, where basically Azrael got this redemption arc, gets his own comic book, which is beautifully drawn. I kind of remember Bono Alligator, but I don't remember Mortality very well. Rewatched Hate Show and Resurrection again. It's a Resurrection. I don't think Resurrection is one of those that you can go into like super seriously. Like I enjoy it for what it is, but that's like I one of my favorite parts of Resurrection is always going to be Buster Rhymes because he cracks me up. What do I like better, Tank Girl comic or movie? Comic, but I didn't mind the movie. As far as like adaptions go, Tank Girl wasn't bad. Hey, Dag man, welcome. We're talking like comic stuff tonight, so any comic like oriented stuff that you want to talk about, uh, shoot it up. Here I actually got this from that I'm going to be reviewing actually this week. So I just got to read through it. It's 224 pages, and it goes from right into the beginning of Spider-Man right to like the later stuff, like One More Day and like Spider-Verse and Spider-Geddon and all that stuff. Um, One of my all-time favorite Spider-Man stories, just nobody asked, but I'll tell you, Spider-Man Blue. If you've never read it, I'll tell you this right now, it'll make you cry. It's one of those. It's one of those sad ones. It's one of those softy ones. And you know, anything Roger Stern. But I was gonna check here to see if there's anything that I can recommend omnibus-wise that's coming out in the near future. So I brought up Amazon.com because most of the people on here are from the U.S. so so I thought I'd look at a couple of the omnibuses where we chat about whatever you want to talk about. Ask me any questions that you want to. I forgot it was on my. Oh my god. Yeah, I forgot it was on my Spacey. That's kind of problematic now, right? it's it's a bit different now, but you know, I guess you know he's not the star, so that's a better thing. Classic rap. We got anything in like particular that stands out? Did you? Because like classic is in like the earlier era, like a comics, or like classics is in like maybe some like the. I got like an omnibus, like a classics illustrated omnibus. Where you go like the Man with Iron Mask, Three Musketeers, Deadly Class, Rick Remender. Yes, I really I did not see the show yet, but I definitely want to check out Deadly Class. That's the one where I've read a little bit of it, but I stopped. Not because I didn't like it, but basically because I couldn't get any more of it. So I knew there were kind of bigger editions coming out, and they're not that expensive. So I'm going to pick them up. We saw the hours of movies. Um, I'm actually really looking forward to the new Hellraiser film. The TV series, whatever they're doing with it, because and I got to meet Doug Bradley a few years back. A really nice guy. Um, I think Jamie Clayton's going to do a really good job because it's going to be a lot. You know, as much as I love Bradley and I thought he definitely made an iconic character. We're going to get closer to what the Hell Priest is in the book as opposed to kind of what they made for the film. Killing Joke. Well, Killing Joke's fantastic. You know, there's always been that like little like side thing on the Killing Joke, where it's kind of that rumor that the end of the Killing Joke, Batman kills the Joker, and that's why the laughing trails off. It's not just basically because he stopped laughing. It's that he snaps his neck. I don't think so, but I've heard that. I've heard that like theory like roam around. Let's dive in. Let's look at some of the stuff that is coming up that is available. I will give you some recommendations here. If there's any that stand out or things that you think are fantastic, like please definitely let me know. I love James Barr stuff, so The Crow is definitely my jam, man. So there you go. I see me in in circle form, but as you guys know, I picked up the Animal Man omnibus. Came in today. I did an unboxing of it. It is a fantastic read. I don't blame him. It's John Peters, man. You don't trust John Peters when it comes to this stuff. The Kevin Smith thing says it all, right? Mechanical spiders. Wow. But recommendations for here. This is actually not a bad price for this one here. Justice League: The New 52. I do think the strongest portion of this book is probably the first volume, but you know, some people will totally flip on that one. I do have the first volume of this. I will eventually get the second volume. It's New 52, so as Mad Dog would put it, if New 52 is your jam, then definitely check it out. Doctor Doom, as far as like having a compilation omnibus goes, this is one of the best ones. Whereas like the Loki one was kind of cool, and we got a lot of early appearances by Loki. There was a lot of crossover too. Like you could basically just buy the early like Thor omnibuses and get the same thing. But in this one here, we get some mini series, we get some graphic novels. So it's dealing with a lot more than that. Oh yeah, Star Wars is strongly owned by Marvel for many many years to come. I don't see that changing. This is Amazing Spider-Man Omnibus Volume One. It is a like when I say I like it, it's a great read, but it's a Silver Age read, so it's not going to be something that is going to be for everybody. Did you ever watch the sequels to The Crow? Because oh man, um, Annihilation's at a really great price. This is probably one of the better cosmic like events that Marvel's has put off. I actually enjoyed Annihilation. You know, it all depends on you and if it's your jam or not. Star Wars Legends Empire Volume One. Again, if you're a Star Wars person, that's great. I do like Miller and Jansen's omnibus here for Daredevil. Strong recommendation on that. Yeah, Frank Miller and Klaus, and it was who wrote and like drew like a lot of Daredevil, and it was later on it would be drawn and inked, of course, by Klaus Janson. So the heat, and if you're wondering maybe about kind of where they might go in the new in the Marvel series Daredevil, the Born Again saga is here, actually in Frank Miller. But I'm kind of wondering if they're going to go with Mark Waid to kind of combine them both. Again, a recommendation for 52. 52 is one of these like shoot off on, but hey, the Swift welcome, man. I want to see that movie actually. That is so cool. It looks really really cool. So Samaritan is this kind of like this was it like retired like superhero that kind of is forced to make a comeback. I've seen trailers for it. I'm very jealous, man, and it looks super cool, and it definitely fits in with the tone of tonight. I've seen the Amazon original series Invincible. I do, and I liked it a lot. I thought they did a great job of Invincible, and I'm looking forward to a second season of Invincible. Hopefully, we're going to, unlike Netflix, hopefully they'll keep their things going as opposed to canceling them after one or two seasons. 52 is a series that shouldn't work. So basically, Final Crisis happened, and we for 52 weeks, for a whole year, you don't see or hear anything from like Batman, Superman, or Wonder Woman. The Trinity is out. So you got this 52 series that deals with the other, like what's some consider some of the B-list characters from the DC universe, and we slowly go into like a kind of a mystery aspect, and it builds up. It was when it was done, it was basically it was done once a week, hence 52. DC has this major thing for 52. I like Dead Space. I really do. I got those actually, the Dead Space ones. A friend gave them to me. Spider Verse, Spider Geddon, I like it. You know, it's to each their own. It's not like a strong recommendation for me. Ultimate Spider Man, that does get a strong recommendation. Brian Michael Bendis had his best. South Korean style. My kids were here; they would be able to talk to you more about that because they love especially my youngest. Um, they are really big when it comes to the to Korean. Well, lately they haven't been so much, but taste change and stuff like that. Savage She-Hulk. This is the original like run on the She-Hulk. This is before it becomes meta, so this is more of a straightforward run. It does get more kind of like more humorous like later on, like nearing to the end of it, but it's definitely a decent run on this. Now, we want a more action-packed run of the She-Hulk comic. There, Peter David is your man. That's the one to go for. Because if you really want to see a lot of action, want to see like some really cool stylized artwork, then that's what the Peter David She-Hulk definitely does that. Savage Avengers, strong recommendation there. I don't think this will ever get a second printing, and the reason for that is because Conan's in the Savage Avengers, and Marvel no longer has the rights to Conan. So I don't expect to see this one being reprinted. So if you want to get the Savage Avengers omnibus when it comes out in December, then get it then. I don't think we're going to see it like after that. I think it's going to sell up fairly fast. You know, it's an Avengers series that's got Venom, the Punisher, Wolverine, Conan. You can expect that to go pretty fast. There we have like the Incredible Hulk by Peter David, Volume 5, coming out. Definite recommendation on that one. Same as Spider-Man 2099, also Peter David. Peter David is a strong voice when it comes to comics, and when you see his work, basically when you read his work, you know it, and you'll come back to it. I got to see more Korean stuff because I've heard some amazing stuff from my kids. House of M. I eventually expect to see this happen in the Marvel Universe, so definitely. Although I did new X Men, of course, Grant Morrison did a great job on that. Thor by Matt Fraction. This gets a bad rap. I think Matt Fraction's Thor is actually really good. This includes, I'm pretty sure this includes the crossover miniseries that they're doing at the time. Where's that? Fear Itself. Yeah, it includes Fear Itself. So like the latest one that I picked up, like the Incredible Hulk Volume 4 by Peter David, that included like the Heroes Reborn Return, 4-part miniseries. I'll check it out, man. I don't. That's one thing I gotta say. You definitely know way more than me on that. Who's my second favorite Conan? Conan O'Brien. Conan. Uh, I would say I gotta go. Although I do like Conan from WCW, I'm gonna go with Conan O'Brien because he's in a way he is, or at least he should have been the heir apparent for he's Dave. He's like the David Letterman esque in the way that he does things. So I like that. And I did. And when he was writing The Simpsons, that was when the best time Simpsons ever was. One thing I'm going to do tonight is I want to give a shout out to Captain Can Comics. So I want to see if I can bring it up here. So it's a Canadian online comic store. I'm going to show you. He did get screwed. Everybody got ended up getting screwed, dude, by Jay Leno. So here is Capcan Comics. They're in Canada. They do some amazing stuff, and I actually bought something directly from the guy behind the company, and he really did well for me. I gotta give like a strong shout out to him, and because you guys are here, one thing I will do is I'm gonna unbox an Absolute tonight to show you guys. I'm gonna do it here on camera. I'm gonna show you something else that I got too. So when I ordered these books from him, he gave me an incredible deal. And one of the neat things he did, he put in these two cards as well. So there's a card there of course Dream, and a card of Death. And that's from like the DC Skybox card series that was done. So here I have in my hands a Sandman Absolute. This is Volume 2. And I'm going to open it here on camera in front of you guys. For those that have not yet watched the Sandman series, I am going to truly recommend that you check that out ASAP. Absolute editions are DC's. If you get an absolute, it's the highest honor for a book for DC. It's pretty much saying, this is, this is a top book. And this has the artwork. So stuff like The Killing Joke, which was mentioned there earlier, would have has an absolute edition. Things like Planetary has an absolute edition. Sandman, and Death, and Swamp Thing all have absolute editions. So we have all the 5 of them, but we don't have Razor. We don't have the. So I'll just take it out like this. So you guys see it on camera. We do not have the Absolutes or Sandman Overture or the Absolute Death yet. And to give you an idea of like, because you got to be careful with some of these, because Sandman is definitely not one where it's like. Oh, can't show you that picture. Can't show you that picture. Okay, I can show you this one. So. I love Harrow County, but I don't have them yet. I got to get them. I've read a bit of Harrow County. Yeah. This one here has, let's see what it says here. Reprints issues 21 to 39, and of course it has a never before published one shot called Sandman Gallery of Dreams, which Razor knows all about. It actually has like a full like broken down like story here. Oh, that's so cool. And as always, there's like artwork, pencil work in the background. Like I'll share right here. But I want to show you more, but I want to make sure that I can show it on screen. I think that's pretty good. That's decent, right? But Sandman is one of the most beautifully drawn books you'll ever see, especially when you get to issue 50, which is Ramadan, which is my favorite issue of Sandman. I think my better half, like I'm sure, like the Dream of a Thousand Cats is definitely up there for her. But 1,000,000%. Oh, you got to speak to. You got to be here. My better half's here. She is French. Like she's from Morocco, and like so she grew up like with all the French like comics and stuff. So that's her jam, man. She can talk to you about like Lieutenant Blueberry and all that stuff. She would know this way more than me. But it is a gorgeous edition, and a shout out again to Mike from Captain Can Comics. I definitely recommend them. I'm so looking forward to season 2 of Sandman if it actually happens. I'm so worried that it's not going to happen because Netflix do not know what they're doing. So, this is volume 3. And this is the issue 50, Ramadan, which I just fell in love with and was almost like a bedtime story for my kids when they were young, because it just stood out. Netflix right now is going along the lines of Warner Brothers, where I don't think they know what the hell they're doing. The fact that like the Batgirl movie is having like pretty much a funeral, and they're gonna like pretty much delete it so that they can show the IRS that they're not gonna make any money off of it is utter bullshit. Like it really is. Like I get my thoughts on like what I would do with the universe, but definitely it's Netflix is. See, you think like stream is going to be like the future of like it's the cord cutting, like cables no more. Let's do the whole streaming service thing. But then it becomes just as bad as cable, where you got to buy streaming service after streaming service after streaming service. So it's just the same. as getting like a. I'll check it out, man. Getting like like getting cable package. Oh, the Immortal Hulk, L. Ewing, nice. For those who don't know, there's kind of a reason that some people are like look at the Hulk right now and they say like, why isn't he so dark and why isn't he like ripping everybody apart or just like being a super badass character? So the most recent run on the Hulk is Immortal Hulk, and some people have come in like the younger, they've come in and that's probably been like the Hulk that they know and they don't have may not have read the earlier like the Bill Mantlo, the Peter David, like the what the golden age of the Hulk basically. And when I say golden age, I mean like golden age is in like golden age comics. I mean, it's in like the epic era. And Al Ewing has come like kind of closest to me, I think, to getting up to that style run. Is in like it's an epic run, but it's definitely a more horror oriented run. So I don't see it being something that works well on screen. So I don't see an Al Ewing like version of the Hulk coming anytime in the near future. I think what eventually is going to happen, Rafe, is that we're going to come into the aspect of that not every streaming service can survive on its own. So much in the way that cable channels, remember when you have all those cable channels, right? And you eventually you could get packages, and you could buy like from this and this and this. Things would bundle together. I think what we're going to get is along the lines is like some streaming companies are going to like absorb other ones, and we're going to see more of like you'll see on Apple TV. Plus, when you go on there, you can get like all the other like you can get Paramount Plus, you can get all this type of thing. You're gonna, I think we're going to see some of the bigger streaming ones, some of the more successful ones, absorbing some of the other ones. So we'll be able to get like, so that'll all be kind of bundled together. So that not everyone can last. It's just everyone's trying it, but that's the thing. When everybody's trying it, not everybody can survive. It's like in the day, the big in the boom in the comics in the '90s. Comics started to do extremely well, but then everybody started to make a comic company, and unfortunately, that floods the market. Everybody can't buy everything, especially right now. Which gets me to something I was going to mention on here. PlayStation sucks. Yeah, not PlayStation, but Sony. So at a time when it's getting a little bit harder for people, like buying groceries or paying bills and stuff like that, because financially not the greatest time for like a lot of people. Uh, Sony's like wise decision on this was, we know it's a hard time financially now, so pay us more for our PlayStation 5. So we're gonna up the price of our PlayStation 5 because we know it's hard times now financially. Usually, a company, uh, especially a big company like Sony or something like that, don't look at like, man, people are having a hard time of it. What about us? what what about our needs? What about our extra profit? Let's up the price. That's when you see like a company come in and say, we know times are hard right now. We're going to drop the profit. The system's been out for a few years. We'll drop the price a little bit, or we'll put it like a slim version of it or something like that. Sony's just the opposite. Sony is completely reading the room to so wrong. And who are that's the good thing, man. Like some of the younger people right now know so much of the older stuff and the cooler stuff than I do. I'm old, right? Like I'm 51. Like if maybe I look older, but I am at 51, so I'm an older dude. Um, I'm a Gen Xer, and your generation gets called down way too much, by the way. But yeah, Sony like basically says, "Oh, people aren't doing well with stuff. So why don't we just finances are hard on people. Why don't we make them pay more?" It makes no sense. It's like It's like the big blunder that Xbox did back. Remember the Xbox One was coming out and they did that E3 presentation, and it was like, oh, by the way, you're gonna have to like turn your Xbox on once every 24 hours. They got to connect to the internet. You won't be able to like trade you like selling games for use, and you won't be able to trade your games. And so Sony just comes up and says, here's how we are gonna get PlayStation 4 games to your friends. Would you like the PlayStation 4 game? And the guy took it. That was the whole thing. So basically, all they had to do was say, which, was Xbox came in and said, by the way, we're not upping the price of our consoles. Shot fired right there. That's all they had to do. They didn't have to do anything. Like the least amount of work possible to like win people over. We're not upping the price. We're not being greedy bastards. We're not upping the price of our consoles. So yeah, that was the thing that happened today that I didn't expect to happen. Something that I truly was shocked by. But I was excited to see it. Now tomorrow we'll be doing I call it a cinema video here, by the way, because I think there's some announcements coming out tomorrow, some Arrow announcements. Hopefully they're going to be some good ones to make for a good like longer video. This video here has gone on way longer than I expected it to. When it comes to like a Call to Comics video, sometimes we don't get as many people in, unfortunately. One thing I will say though, and I'm very proud of, is that the more recent Call to Comics videos that I've been doing, and certain ones have started to gain a bit of traction, and people have started to watch them. So I want to thank you for that because I really love doing these here videos. I love the whole Call to Comics thing. It really refreshes me because I'm doing the Call to Cinema for so long that to be able to diversify, I think helps me in the long run in making better videos, like overall, like as in across the board. And I've been working really hard to like up my game when it comes to either my live, whether it be my live or my videos with kind of with some minor editing in it, and some stuff that'll have like a little bit of like not so much scripting as opposed to like blueprinting. But it's been a journey, and I've actually enjoyed it. So, with all that being said, my name is Aaron. This has been the Cult of Comics Gamma Infused edition. Hopefully I answered all your questions, and hopefully I did not spoil the She-Hulk series too much for you, but I'm excited. Wolverine, man. Kind of almost confirmed, winking a nod, in She-Hulk, so that's going to be really good. For people that thought they were just going to go straight X-23, it looks like we're getting Wolverine after all. Whew. I am Aaron. This is the Cult of Comics. For every one of you guys that hit that like button, thank you so much. I really, truly appreciate it. The like, share, subscribe. You know the jazz. And I'll see you here next time in the Call to Comics. Have a wonderful, wonderful night.